So, you're thinking about hiring in Hungary for 2025. You've probably heard the talent is incredible, and you're right. But let's be real, the rules can look a little intimidating. This guide is here to break it all down for you so you can stay compliant and succeed from the very beginning. Look, expanding into Hungary, it's a seriously smart move strategically. But here's the thing, your success totally hinges on getting a handle on a very specific set of rules. We're not just talking about best practices here. These are hard and fast, mandatory regulations. And that's really the balancing act, isn't it? On one hand, the opportunity is huge. You've got this highly skilled, often multilingual workforce and really competitive labor costs for the EU. But on the other hand, you've got the risk. Hungary's labor code is strict and it's all digitized. That means everything is tracked, and one little misstep can lead to some pretty heavy penalties. This is not a place where you can just wing it and figure things out as you go. Okay, so where do you even begin with all this? Well, it all starts with the employment contract. Think of this document as the bedrock of your entire relationship with your employee. It's your first major test when it comes to navigating Hungary labor law. And you'll see right away how strict the rules are. The contract has to be in writing, and it has to be signed before your new hire works even a single minute. Any kind of verbal agreement, legally, it's worth nothing. And this is crucial. The official version has to be in Hungarian. Now, you can, and you absolutely should, have a bilingual version, but the Hungarian one is the one that counts legally. And that before day one timeline, it is absolutely non-negotiable. It's not just about registering your company as an employer. You've got this super important deadline. You have to register your new employee with the tax authority, which is called NAV, using a form called the T1041. And this isn't something you do in the first week. No, it has to be done before they officially start. If you miss that, you're looking at instant penalties. All right, so you've got your employee on board. Now you step into the world of payroll in Hungary. And honestly, this is probably the most complex part of HR compliance you'll face in 2025. Every little percentage, every single deadline, it all matters. So let's break down what happens to your employee's gross salary. Before they get their take-home pay, two main things are deducted: a flat 15% for personal income tax, and then a bigger chunk for what's called a social contribution. Right, so that social contribution I just mentioned, that comes out to 18.5% of their gross salary. And this one payment covers a lot. It's for their pension, their health insurance, and unemployment benefits. It's all bundled together. But wait, you're not done with the math yet, because as the employer, you have to pay another 13% on top of their gross salary. This is the social contribution tax, or as they call it locally, SZOCHO, and you absolutely have to factor this into your budget. Okay, so let's put it all together so you can see the full picture. Your employee has two deductions from their gross pay, that 15% income tax and the 18.5% social contribution. And then you, the employer, pay your own separate 13% SZOCHO right on top of that. Nailing these three parts is the absolute key to compliant payroll in Hungary. And it's not just about getting the percentages right, it's about the process. First, all salaries have to be defined and paid out in Hungarian forint, that's HUF. And the monthly deadlines are set in stone. Payments go out by the 10th, and all your tax and payroll reports have to be filed with NAV by the 12th. There's really no wiggle room on this. So, we've covered payroll, but of course, compliance doesn't stop there. The entire life cycle of employment, from start to finish, including how you handle a potential termination, yep, that's also very strictly regulated. Now, if you're coming from a country with at-will employment, you need to pay close attention because this is a huge shift. In Hungary, you can't just let someone go. You have to have a legally valid reason, and it needs to be documented thoroughly. We're talking about things like proven poor performance or a legitimate business redundancy. And the process itself involves strict notice periods and, as we're about to see, potential severance costs. Yeah, severance pay, it's not something you negotiate. It is a legal mandate. If you, as the employer, terminate someone who's been with you for 3 years or more, you have to pay severance. And the amount actually goes up with their seniority, which makes this a really important piece of your long-term financial planning and risk management. Okay, let's recap. We've got complex contract rules, a pretty intricate payroll system, and very strict termination procedures. So this brings up a huge strategic question. Is trying to manage all of this in-house really the best use of your time when you should be focusing on growing your business? And this is exactly why so many foreign investors decide to partner up with a local expert. A firm like ITL Group, for example, is built to handle these exact challenges. They can manage your payroll, make sure your contracts are compliant, and give you the legal backup you need. It's like a one-stop shop. So, what's the big takeaway from all this for a foreign investor? It's that you don't have to become an expert in Hungarian labor law overnight. By working with people who are already on the ground and know the system inside and out, you can pretty much sidestep all those risks, avoid the nasty penalties, and be 100% compliant right from day one. And that frees you up to do what you do best: run your business. So as you're mapping out your expansion into Hungary, think about this for a second. Maybe your first and most critical hire isn't actually an employee at all, but a local partner. You want to build your new venture on a solid foundation, right? So reaching out to an expert like ITL Group to guide you through this journey is probably the smartest first step you can take.